know, pushing the limits of monetization with that one. We'll see how YouTube plays that out. But welcome to the show. It's Sunday night. It's at week's end. The Deadpool Wolverine spoiler special. We've got fantastic guests lined up. We're going to get into it. Full spoilers, tons of giveaways. Share the stream out. Hit the thumbs up. Let's go. As always, it's Paul. We're going through announcements really fast tonight because a lot to talk about. Monday mornings, 10 a.m., DC Deep Dive, always in the description. Click it, follow it, and let's bring in the guests. What's up, Nick?
Hey, Nick.
What the
Special sock is ready, nerds.
Let's go. Rob, you got your special sock?
Always.
Perfect. The people watching will know all these folks. The usual cast of characters are in here. And we have a very special guest tonight joining us from the Unchosen Ones podcast. Quickly became my favorite podcast on any platform. I'm not a big podcast guy, but I never miss an episode. I watch them when they drop. Jay and his brother always rock. Really, dude, it's so funny. Y'all got to check it out. But I managed to talk him into coming on, twisted his arm, and we have Jay. What is going on, homie?
What is happening? Thank you. I really appreciate this. It's very cool.
Yeah, real quick, plug your podcast at the front end here because people, when they watch on the rewind, typically always see the beginning of the show, might not always see the end.
Yeah, it's at The Unchosen Ones on YouTube, and we have an Instagram and TikTok account as well. And if you could, get on there, check out one. If you like it, sub. If you don't like it, just hit it anyway. I mean, what does it cost you?
Yeah, just sub anyways. I'm telling you, it's fantastic.
Just do it for charity.
Yeah, they're open for sponsors, by the way.
Very.
Yeah, very, very open to sponsors.
Coming to the main stage. Charity.
Yeah. Just to be clear, by podcast, you mean penis.
Yeah, of course. Yes, we already established that earlier.
I forgot we were backstage.
When I started with the TARDIS, I mean, my goodness.
Everyone loves inside jokes.
Yeah.
I'm
drunk.
We're having a lot of fun whether you guys are or not. Doesn't matter.
Inside what, though?
Yeah, I'm going to throw a link in the chat for everybody to hit it. One of honest to God, one of my favorite things that y'all did right out the gate is when y'all started doing your podcast, you immediately put it on all your normal podcast places, but you can watch it on YouTube because I'm a YouTube guy, and I couldn't imagine experiencing it without watching it because the dynamic you and your brother have is something that you cannot get otherwise unless you just have your sibling with you. And it's absolutely fantastic. And I love how the comedy of that show just naturally builds from episode to episode and stuff carries over. But they cover hot topic stuff like whatever's happening in nerd culture, movies, comics, and all that stuff. And it comes out every 2 weeks. And it's an absolute blast. I really, really suggest it. I dropped it in the chat. Make sure y'all hit that right now. Subscribe to it and pop back over here while I go through the other announcements. It take just a second. But as always,
they could right click, open another tab. Don't leave this one.
Mm-hmm.
This guy.
Oh, you're both kind of cute. It's a nice 2-for-1 special.
Thanks. You're not bad yourself, Cliff.
Voice of reason right there.
Big shout out to Big Time Collectibles, channel sponsor. They help sponsor the league. And they're the best when it comes to online retailers in the game. Nelson and the crew over there are second to none. Check them out at their website, on social medias, all that. If you need anything cleaner press, hit up my homie Justin over on Instagram. He can take care of you. The link is in the description as always. And as always, huge shout out to ABX Comics and Games, my local comic shop. If you're getting into tabletop gaming or comic books, they have a phenomenal Facebook group, which you can get linked up with also in the description of any and all of my videos. So let's get right into it. Hello to the chat. We'll throw that out there.
Am I watching this on 5x speed? Damn.
I've said it 1 or 2 times before. Trying to get into it. Deadpool and Wolverine, the one and only Marvel Cinematic release of the year at this point. There's nothing left on the big screen. The one that everyone's been waiting on. Was this going to be the Marvel Jesus moment that Disney was looking for? I think, hell yeah, it most certainly is. It's already crossed over $430 million worldwide box office in the opening weekend, and rightfully so. But as always, we're going to go around the circle and just get everyone's rating and general what they thought. Then we'll just dive into it. But take it away, Rob. Just go around.
What's our rating scale?
Everyone has their own. You'll learn.
No, well,
You would.
I'll use the comic book rating scale.
There you go.
I guess it was a 7.75. I know everybody. It was fun. It had a lot of fan service throughout the whole thing, but overall, as a movie itself, I actually think that it's the worst of the 3 Deadpool films. I know. I'll probably be the bad guy here on all this, but that's just my, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a lot of stuff that was going on. It was fun, but I just didn't think, as a movie goes, I thought it was a little bit off. I didn't understand, as a guy who's watched all this stuff, the TVA shit was really bugging me because it didn't seem to line up with where we left the TVA. So I don't know. That just kind of like bugged me the whole damn time.
Paul?
I'm going to give it 9 rings out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It's not in my top 5, but it's right there at in my top 5. And I'm not a Marvel guy at all. So
Go for it, Nick. What you got?
I give it a 3.5. I agree with Rob. The story wasn't that good. There were a couple of things that I thought maybe it could have been better, but there are things in that movie that I never thought I would see in my superhero lifetime that just made the movie for me. So 3.5
Out of 5?
out of 5.
Yeah, he can't really go much higher. He's missing half that finger.
Oh my lord! Wow. So
And just in case you didn't know, Jay, that's all he's got.
But not for
It must
nothing.
be a good bowler.
that's why he's called 9.5 Nick.
Yeah, he gives every movie a 3.5 just so he can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cliff, what
No,
you got?
well, Infinity War got a 4.5.
Okay.
no, I'm glad he did that because I was genuinely worried about his hand for a minute, and I was like, "Yo, like, did he commit a war crime? Like, what are you guys not telling me?" So anyhow, so as a Deadpool movie, 10 out of 10. As a Marvel movie, somewhere around 8 or 9 out of 10. As a movie that I went to the theater to see and enjoy and had a fantastic time, back to a 10. So, we'll call this like a 9.5. And again, but it's like very superficial, right? Because it's really just about how much I just had a great time watching it versus like a lot of technical appeal. But I was a little iffy on their use of the TVA, but I thought that the last quarter of the film tied some of that mess up a little bit, with like, hey, what's going on over there in that little universe? So yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Very much. Very, very much.
DJ?
I loved it. I loved it after the second viewing. Saw it in the theater twice. When I left on Thursday, I gave it a 9, a strong 9 out of 10 handies. And then after watching it in IMAX, a half a handy. So I'm going 9.5 out of 10 handies. I really, really liked it after the first viewing. After the second viewing, I absolutely loved it. And I'm not getting the disconnect with the TVA stuff. I think that was explained pretty clearly. So.
Nice. Jay, what do you give it?
I'll go with I like the elementary school grading scale because that's where I did my best work. So I give it an A+, which would be top score I could give any kind of that doesn't mean it's perfect, but there's like different kinds of perfect. It's so hard to give something a 10 and then look, now everything has to be better than that for the rest of my life. So it's just, that's the top score I could give it as a comic book film. Left me wanting for nothing, gave me more than I thought I'd get. I didn't even after I was like, oh yeah, Taylor Swift wasn't in it. I totally forgot about the entire thing. I was like, oh, that was totally not even.
I was looking at every corner, like, yeah, you girl.
It totally slipped my mind about that entire thing, and it had so many surprises. Like I even got surprised. I was going to talk about the Johnny Storm. Do we want to go into that? Or okay, yeah. Like I knew going in very well that there was a very high probability that Chris Evans was going to be in this as Johnny Storm. Knew that in my head going in. Those bastards hypnotized me with the music and how he moved and the on his arm the red, white, and blue, right? And right up until he said "Flame On," I was hypnotized. And when he said it, I was like, "You fucking idiot!" Of course, that's what they're doing. But they got me. They totally got me.
As well, but my alarm went up immediately when he called him dick bags right before.
Right.
Like dick bags. Yeah. I'm like, no way.
And
Deadpool looks over at him like, whoa.
Cap doesn't curse. Cap doesn't.
Then he immediately fizzles out in that terrible landing, and Logan's like, we don't know him.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
So
For
good.
me,
Yeah,
for
I
me,
was
as
so
always,
pissed at Pyro for that.
the color scale. This is a full green, absolutely full green for me. Was the story all there? For me, it was because I was watching it through the lens of a Deadpool No Way Home in-game scenario. You know, if you want to look at the weakest Avengers movie, it's in-game, but it's most people's favorite story-wise. Like, you know, they're just piecing together amazing moments, and for what they set out to do with Deadpool, they did it perfectly. I think. You know, the pacing was phenomenal. You're always in the middle of something that's just rocking your socks off, and they've connected it the loosest way they needed to. But for the most part, I can't really think of anything that really stood out as not making sense story wise, other than like the opening scene when he's in the 616 universe with the time machine on his wrist. You know,
Yes.
how is he in the 616 with a time machine and not in 10005? That threw me off, but
Well, he went into the different universes in the last Deadpool, though, didn't he? He killed
I thought he was
himself.
just going forward and back on his one timeline, is what I thought.
No, he was going into different.
Oh yeah, because he went into the Deadpool and Green Lantern. All that. Okay, yeah,
He killed himself in real life.
yeah, yeah. Reading the script. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's all there as much as it needs to be there. Like a hard sci-fi novel, not having to explain how the machine works, just tells you the name of the machine. We this is how we do it.
That's probably the only thing that I didn't love was the interaction with him and Happy. For some reason, I thought like I got it from an emotional perspective and stuff like that. It just didn't do anything for me. Like
It was
I
a
was
good
it was a
warm-up
whole-
to the Easter eggs.
dragged.
It's
yeah.
the whole setup for the whole why he wants to do something better, and he's felt rejected and becomes the car salesman.
And it's also one of those double cameo moments as well. Not only is he Happy Hogan in the MCU, but that's Daredevil. Yeah,
That's
Daredevil's
exactly.
partner.
That's Foggy.
Yep.
Did you
That was
catch
pretty
the
good.
Iron Man helmet in Happy's office in the background, the toy one?
that Peter Parker wore in Iron Man
Peter
2.
Parker. So does that confirm that kid is Peter
Yeah.
Parker?
That confirms it.
Yeah,
I think
Feige,
even
Right.
Feige
even
wrote
Feige
it in,
said it.
retconned it.
yeah, even
Right.
Feige said it. Yep.
And what was funny is the picture that was behind it was of
Right.
Tony Stark and Tom Holland, but they covered Tom Holland so they didn't have to pay Sony.
Didn't have to
You know
pay.
what's weird? Yeah, if they actually showed that picture, that would count as a movie that would have to deduct off the deal.
Right.
And there was a whole. I mean, the other thing is too, when he was talking to Happy, he was kind of okay. You know what? They're not going to let him into the Marvel part of the Marvel universe. You know, they're gonna instead. He's going to basically the whole movie is less about a Marvel movie and more about saying a goodbye to the Fox.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. We got a $4.99 super chat from Flo Dameron. I saw Nick was on the panel and just wanted to say his hate drives my success. hate. Appreciate the $4.99 Flo. Yeah, dude, I think that was one of the biggest strengths of it, Paul, is they didn't try to drag Deadpool into the MCU.
Right.
They just
Absolutely.
this is his universe. He stayed in his universe minus the Void, really.
Yeah,
And they
this
just
is
let it operate.
this was more about a swan song to the Fox universe to me.
And New Line, because Blade was from New Line, so Blade wasn't
Right.
Fox. Yeah, so it was like
Right.
any
It's just the other stuff.
Yeah.
But Blade wasn't in the Deadpool universe stuff. He was only in the Void. So the Void captures everything from everywhere, and then but at the end, Deadpool goes back to his universe.
Mhm.
What
But I
about
do like the-
X-23? Does she go back to the main Deadpool universe, the teenage
Yes.
version?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now what about isn't Logan in that same universe
Logan's
as
dead.
Deadpool's main?
Well,
So,
the
yeah,
new
so
the new
this-
Logan.
In this movie, Laura is with a completely different Logan. She I guess we all assume that that's the same exact Laura from Logan, but it could be a Laura from many different
No,
worlds.
I-
But
No,
Logan
it
doesn't
was-
happen for 4 more years.
Yeah,
Right?
I think it was
2020.
confirmed that it was the same
But-
universe that the Logan movie happened in.
Right.
Which is
But
in
you
the
see,
future.
Remember, she
from the
might be
future.
from the future, but she ends up in the Void. The Void is without time. There is no time
Right.
in the Void. It's an absence of time. And so then her being able to go back, yeah, she's crossing her own timeline, which if you're a Doctor Who thing is very bad, but she's not interacting with herself, so it's fine. And then you're also bringing in the worst Logan to now be in that universe.
Right.
So-
And he's now the anchor being for that universe.
Right.
Right. He's the replacement. Yes.
Right.
Dudes, I'm gonna have to jump. Mark, again, thank you. Sorry, there's a big thing going on in my life right now, and that's why I have to skate.
Wish your daughter a happy, beautiful wedding.
We're giving this away. Mark is gonna run this. We're doing it worldwide, and I'm gonna throw in $20 on top of that in the package. I'm drunk. So.
Worldwide.
I love you.
If I win, can I have an all in quarters?
Oh shit! I'm gonna give you the roll of quarters. You're gonna have to take it out of my front pocket.
Hey, you have a Sonic Hedgehog 69 instead.
Hey, that's what you call it. Yo, please somebody comment on at the end of the movie. It never said Deadpool will return or Deadpool will return like all the other MCU movies. This is the first movie that didn't have that.
Oh shit! I didn't even notice that.
Right.
I think he said that he was pretty much done. Like his wife and kids are very frustrated with him at this point.
Yeah, and I also thought that all the people that appeared in The Void, to me, were characters that at one point were supposed to star in their own movies, but have for some reason, or like Blade, who has been now in limbo for a long time, but Gambit was supposed to have his own movie. Elektra was supposed to have her own movie at one point. X-23 was supposed to have his own movie. But they, beyond what they've done, they've all, I think, they've all been slated to be in more projects, but they never really have gotten off the ground. I could be wrong, again, because I'm not a Marvel person. But
Elektra got one, right? Didn't she get one?
She sure did. She sure shit did. What did y'all think of that line?
That's how bad it was.
Exactly.
My
the Ben
favorite
Affleck
line,
the Daredevil line.
the Elektra movie.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
not,
movie.
I must have blocked it out.
It's a movie.
I was waiting to hear the question. What was that?
I remember nothing from that movie other than how good she looked and how good
Yeah,
she looked.
she does look good.
Still looks good.
And the tattoos would come off of him and come to life and stuff. And yeah, she was sent to the cabin by the lake to pull an assassin job, but got close to the target. And then the other assassins came for her, not doing the job.
I must have decided never to watch it.
That's fair.
I gotta say, one of the funniest parts, and my wife caught this the second time we watched it today, because we watched it the first time and I explained to her the backstory with Channing Tate-Yum being in the movie as Gambit. And so when we watched it again today, and it didn't even dawn on me the first time I watched it, but when Blade was talking about how he's ready to go fight because he didn't get a chance to fight for his universe, and Elektra said same thing with me, and Gambit responded with, I don't know where I'm from. I think I might have just been born here, because he has
right, exactly.
Like, that was such a beautiful touch.
That and there was the comment to Wesley Snipes' Blade about that, you'd be the only one, essentially. That there is.
My favorite part of that is Deadpool's looking to the camera after he says it.
Yeah, he's like, who's that? It's Punishers. Which one? There's been numerous. There's only been one Blade, and there only ever will be.
Yeah, exactly.
The camera, yeah. But I want to go through, like, one of the coolest things is not just the cameos, but the homages they did. We got numerous homages during a montage scene.
Crucified Wolverine, shit.
Yeah, straight off of what is it, Uncanny 251?
Yeah.
And then in classic Deadpool fashion, a couple were, you okay up there, bud? I think I'm just gonna go. Just leaves him there. Doesn't even help him down. But obviously we got Patch, and goes up and approaches Patch, and he just puts the claw straight in his head and slams him on the poker table. We got Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Yeah, that when I saw that, I was like, yes.
Yeah, missing the hand.
Cavalrine.
Cavalry was my favorite.
That was great.
I was like, he looks great, cigar and everything.
We're going to treat you so much better than those other guys down the street.
Exactly. Dude, that dude is massive. Henry Cavill.
He's huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
He should have done a line about not putting a mustache on him electronically to kind of go. It would have been bookended with the not, don't make me a green costume.
Yeah.
Well, that and the of course, I'm sure you're gonna get to it. I love the comic accurate height.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't that show you how fans don't know what they really want? Because that would be terrible. That looked ridiculous. You don't want that in the movie.
I loved it I loved it in Willy Wonka.
Right. Good for Willy Wonka.
As soon as he jumped off
can I get the comic accurate Wolverine and go at it?
That should have been the biggest slap in the face to so many people. Oh, not comic accurate. Like, sometimes you don't know what you want, man.
Yeah, that'd be one of them. there'd be no way to take him serious, even if you got
Right.
somebody that actual height and didn't just CG him down.
Look at you.
But by
Look
far,
at you. You're a cutie. Yes,
my
you are.
favorite little homage was easily the 340.
Oh, yeah, it was
Getting-
great.
That was so
So
iconic.
good.
And they gave us the
Brown
brown
suit.
tan outfit too. It was killing
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, Deadpool called it out. He goes, "That's the suit you wore when you fought the Hulk." And then there he is.
They
It
even
was
mentioned the
clearly
artist, didn't they?
Russell.
Say John
Yeah, he
what's
said
his
the
name?
John
The
Byrne.
burn.
John Byrne, right? Yeah, they even mentioned that.
Yeah,
That suit looked
movie
great,
got
by the way.
Extremely meta.
The brown one.
Yeah,
I
it
can
did.
see that in a whole movie.
Yeah, I have to be honest. That whole montage scene, as a big X-Men fan, to see 251, I audibly was like, "Yo!" I said to my son, grabbed his arm, was like, "That's
Did
it."
you know what?
That's it.
Did you know what was coming as soon as he landed on all the skeletons?
No, I mean, you really don't see that, and then you kind of get the light because it's like a purple and green cover, and to have that bright pop, I was like, "No," and I was like, "Oh, yes, yes, yes." And then just to have them homage after homage was just fantastic. It was fantastic.
So the biggest surprise for me was Wesley Snipes and then Gambit. I was like, I'm not prepared for this. I was like, I'm not prepared for this. I was like, I had zero expectation of both of these. I was like, oh shit.
Snipes
Yeah,
was the biggest shock to me.
no,
I
yeah,
did not
Wesley
hear
Snipes
anything
by
about
far.
that.
Right.
I didn't hear anything about Gambit. I was
Yeah.
so happy that I was
Heard the
actually
Gambit ones.
surprised.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that I heard could happen, this and that. But Wesley Snipes' blade was nowhere in any
Nowhere.
I ever saw.
That
No,
was
Did he ever
fantastically underrated.
fix his tax evasion problems? That's what my wife
I
was
think he
asking.
did.
Like, yeah, he went to jail and everything. It was all
Durs, if I had a time machine, I would go back and fix his taxes.
Hey, he and I are about to share a birthday on Wednesday. Leave Wesley alone.
What was your first favorite part, Brother John? If the run through the cameos was your second, and one thing I do want to touch on, like, I put it out, like, no matter what somebody's expectations were for this movie, there's no way it didn't exceed it, unless you like, some people just watch movies through the wrong lenses, or they had a bad day, or just whatever. But this movie exceeded any and all expectations I had, and everyone knows I am not a pushover when it comes to Disney stuff or stuff. I'm a hard sell, and this one completely put it over. But the biggest thing for me, I was going into a movie called Deadpool and Wolverine. I know that we're getting Deadpool and Wolverine. I know these guys are going to fight. I know I'm going to love it. But then when they actually fight for the first time,
Right.
I went back in my seat and I'm slapping my dad like, are you seeing this shit? Like when Wolverine, Deadpool warned us. Like, he's like, get you. What did he say, Rob, about the sock? Or Nick? Yeah, Nick's the one with the sock. He said, get your something sock. This is what you came for.
It's like
Nerds,
nerds
yeah,
get your
nerd
special sock out.
Yeah, get
something
your
like that.
special sock, and he catches the clips, and Wolverine goes down on all four and runs on just the choreography, the speed, the ferocity, just all of it. Like I knew it was.
It was almost as good as the Acolyte, almost.
Oh, it was this close.
Don't get him started. Please don't get him started, Jay.
Why you got to do that? Why you got to do that?
That's
Sorry.
how the internet is debating online.
Listen, I hated Daphne Keene's character so much in The Acolyte. I hated her. And so
she got it in though.
I was she did, but it was like, but I hated her. I didn't want her to win. I was like, no, you should die. You suck. I was like, I just hated her, right? So, and it's like, oh, she had a cool technique. I was like, shut up, kill her already. So but then in this movie, I was like, come on, girl. Come on, redeem yourself. And she was fabulous.
Her keeping the glasses on a little too long.
That was great.
Yeah. I mean,
The
just to
glasses
put them
were
on,
cool.
but to have them on the whole time, that was kind of corny. To me.
How many of y'all thought they were all?
That's the part you had the problem with in the whole movie, the
Well, no,
believability of the glasses.
That was a little. I mean, that was a little.
That's what not the alternate dimension where everything gets sent to. Not you. It's the glasses. The glasses.
A couple of nitpicks, but that was about the level of it.
Did anyone
I
else
actually
think
have a
they were gonna
nitpick.
get out of the minivan and just die instantly?
Yeah, when he said we're gonna fight now, that was like,
That was
that's
good.
Great. That was great.
I
Wolverine said, I don't think y'all are going to make it through this.
My
But
one
I'm being
nitpick is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, okay. The sling ring, right? That is not known to be able to go between dimensions, is it not? Because otherwise, Multiverse of Madness would have been about 3 minutes long. Why would you need America Chavez if your sling ring can go in between dimensions?
Well, did you
It's,
notice?
it's,
Spider-Man did
making
it,
it's making that sparkly Marvel circle.
but Spider-Man did it, right? They went through dimensions in
Spider-Man did, 'cause
Spider-Man,
he
pulling
pulled
Peter
into the
Parker
mirror
and Peter
dimension,
Parker.
and Spider-Man got out of the mirror dimension and
And
left.
that's the trick to that actually making sense, because whether they're supposed to or not, Spider-Man did it. But who did it in Spider-Man? Ned did it.
Right.
And Cassandra did not say Doctor Strange came. She said some novice magician. She used the word amateur
that's
magician.
True. That's
had
true.
to be Ned, the only other person.
Maybe you're right.
One of those to go through dimensions. So
Didn't think of that.
detail in these little what would be plot holes.
Right.
There's actual thought in them. So it.
But Ned never brought in No Way Home. He never brought anyone from a different dimension.
Peter Parker and Peter Parker.
Yeah.
No, they had already been brought in. They were already there.
Yeah.
But he free Doctor Strange from the mirror dimension unintentionally.
Well, the mirror dimension is part of each universe has a mirror dimension, just like each universe has a quantum realm.
Well, I wonder.
They call it adjacent.
I wonder if there's one void, because all these different.
There is only one void.
One void, so maybe
Yes.
that's the catch. It's
there's only one void. There's only one TVA.
But I'm pretty sure that if you know exactly who you're looking for with the sling ring, it probably will defy lots and lots of laws of physics.
No, it ruined the whole movie for me.
Whatever
Hold
the
on.
movie needs.
Wait a
it
second.
can-
We're going to
It's
debate
trash.
the laws of physics with related to a sling ring, which opens a portal that allows you just to interdimensionally travel.
Now, if you notice, the sling ring also had
I know. It's all fiction.
the sling ring also had infinity gems on it, which made it different. It had a green and a red gem on it, which is
That's what I
time and
was-
reality.
Yeah.
But even that shouldn't work, because the infinity gems are only supposed to work in their own universe. Thanos couldn't go into a different universe with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, again, do you think it's because it's tied to the void? It isn't like you can use this sling ring to go from universe to universe, but you can use the void as like a piggyback point, since there's only
like a train station or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a nexus
Everyone
that all
can get to
the
void, and from the void you can get
Maybe.
to one point. but you
it's like a
always
big bicycle wheel with the spokes, right? You
Well,
got
I really
the
think they
center
should
is
have checked with us before making the movie.
They definitely should
And
have.
by the way, I think the gems can work in different universes. The gems cannot work in the TVA.
The gems can work in different universes, you're right, but they were never used to go from one universe to another universe.
They
We
don't
never
work in the
actually
DC
saw that.
universe.
But Ultron did it in What If, which is supposed to be canon.
Mm.
He looked right at the Watcher,
Ultron in What
smashed
If.
right through reality, and was like, "I'm coming for you." So that's a whole
That's
thing.
true.
that happened.
God
This
damn
is
it,
the
that's
question we
true.
got
And then there was
from
this
Dave
movie.
here.
What a bunch
Rob's
of
the only
nerds.
one
This
that
conversation.
Rob's the only one that ranked his 3 Deadpool movies. You did 3, 2, 1, Rob, or 3, 1, 2?
Well, I had said that this one was probably the lowest of the 3, and then somebody else in the chat then later asked me which was my favorite of the 2, and I gave 2 an edge over 1. So mine would be 2, 1, 3.
Paul, rank yours.
I would probably do 3, 1, 2.
Nick,
I would say 3-1-2 also. Chicago.
Also 3-1-2.
I would go 3, 2, 1.
3-1-2.
There you go. 3, 1, 2
You
wins.
guys all think that this is the best Deadpool movie that was done.
In what sense?
It's the one I enjoyed
Well,
the
you
most.
just ranked it at the top.
It's the one I enjoyed the most, so it's the best one for me.
Yeah, for me, the level of fan service in this movie is pretty much unparalleled.
I think for me, it's not.
I
like
have
saying
proven my
is
point.
No, I'm not going fan service with it. I'm looking at the story in it, but I'm not looking at Deadpool, because this is equally split movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, that stands as a Deadpool's 3rd film. And Wolverine's story arc in this, I think his character arc is perfectly fine. And I'm not bothered by this TVA thing. Like I get what they're doing. That doesn't like that.
So-
Let's go get a kid before he burns a person in part 2. Like
As I
what the fuck else did they do? That's all
oversimplify,
they did.
as I'm
whole
going to take
movie.
a moment,
That's the whole
as I'm going
movie.
to take a moment to
love
oversimplify everything here. Since we keep mentioning Acolyte, the only thing that anybody seemed to like about the Acolyte was the lightsaber fights. This movie, everybody seems to like, which is nothing but mostly Wolverine and Deadpool fights. What I've learned from this is you guys don't want to watch a movie or a show or anything. You just want to watch
Rob.
fights.
Not true, because I think the best moment of the entire movie, hands down for me, was the scene in the Honda Odyssey before they fought when Hugh Jackman switched on where he's an Oscar fucking level actor and laid out that line of dialogue that broke Ryan Reynolds.
That
And he
was
says, I'm going to fight you now. Like, dude, like that scene right there with Hugh is like the defining moment of his performance in this.
He undressed Deadpool down to his core. That was great.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
He had
like,
nothing
the
to
biggest
say.
joke of all is that you can't fucking die, and God stuck you here with us.
No, there was great dialogue in that movie.
Yeah, and I would think that I speak for everybody that the dynamic between those two could really drive 2 or 3 more movies that we would all go see.
We'd all see it.
And listen, I haven't met one rich person who didn't enjoy getting more rich. So I would not be surprised if Ryan Reynolds said, let's put another one on.
Till he's 90.
Well, we were talking
We
about
got to figure out with Thor.
Yeah, exactly.
With him and Thor. What happens
Well,
there?
it has to be a Secret Wars moment. It has to.
Yeah, it has to.
Oh my
What-
God,
what
please,
is-
God, let that happen in Secret Wars.
What is up with antimatter and matter colliding, and all of a sudden, just the shirt blows off?
That was for me.
Because he worked out like a demon for like a year. He had to get it in there somehow.
HGH, bro.
And how creepy was that mask with a shirtless Wolverine at times?
It was
looked
awesome.
Like
No,
at times the eye,
Awesome.
the way at some,
Bring it
no
to
no
my
at
bedroom, baby.
sometimes some of the angles with the eye, the way the eyes were with that mask with it just was like so like. Is he sleepy eyed? Is he close? What's going on
That
here?
was one of my other
To
nitpicks.
your point, Rob, I thought about that for a split second with them holding on to the antimatter and matter parts of that, and it reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy Part 1 when they like reduce the effect of
chain
the Infinity
together so they
by
can
spreading
survive.
it out. And also you have
Yeah.
2 people with like massive regenerative abilities, so they're just having to regenerate at a higher rate than they're deteriorating. And you see them like having the effect, like it going through them, chipping away at them like it was doing to Cassandra Nova. It just wasn't moving as fast through them. It wasn't like they were touching raw antimatter. This isn't DC antimatter. This is just a machine funneling some
Star Trek
lightweight
antimatter.
antimatter. Yeah, this isn't red matter we're dealing with here. They're good, man.
When they were in the void, did anyone actually take a look at all the stuff that was destroyed in the backgrounds?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Death Star was there.
I didn't
was
see
like-
the Death Star.
I saw the
It
Death
was,
Star.
it was something very Death Star looking in the
I
background.
saw Thor's helmet was in one scene.
Yeah.
The shield that
Winged
Bucky
helmet.
used when he was Captain America that was shaped like an actual shield, not a circle with the red star on it, was in there. I swear to God, like after the fight, as soon as they have the first fight and they start traveling together, when they're captured and they're rolling back to the corpse of Giant Man, you see stuff falling out of the sky like constantly. But the second item that fell out of the sky, I swear to God, it looked like the Warner Brothers water tower.
Oh, really?
I swear. I saw it the first time I watched it, so I was watching close the second time, and it was clearly a water tower, but it couldn't make out if it had Warner Brothers on it. I'm like, that has to be intentional.
I wonder if it's because Disney has a water tower on their studio lot too.
Oh.
Carlito said he was riding home in on the Odyssey. It fucks hard. Yeah, that fight scene was pretty dope. But did
The
y'all
fight scene
what did y'all
exceeded
think of them?
anything.
It's very roomy when you know what you're doing.
So what did y'all actually think about that big moment? You know, the big ending when
Peter Poole?
the Deadpool core rolls out and everything.
Ugh.
Oh, Rob, weigh in. Rob, weigh in. Let's hear it.
Okay, they rolled in. Okay, it was a cool fight, and then they all regenerate, yay! And then they all get the. But then for Peter Poole to roll in and all of a sudden, oh hey, look, well
Peter.
he's with me, it's okay, and they all adore Peter, oddly, and he's have fun touching my Peter. I mean, it was a big setup for a fucking dick joke, which I didn't think it needed, but whatever. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong, again, it was fun watching them fight and take on all these things, and watching the credits and see some of the stars that filled some of the roles, like Matthew McConaughey playing the cowboy Deadpool and stuff. But I didn't get as excited about it as
I
probably
actually-
everybody else did.
I actually feel cheated. They didn't show who Lady Deadpool was. I have to admit that the way she looked, it had to be Blake.
It was
Because I don't
different.
think-
She's in the credits.
She's in the credits.
She's
It
in
says
the
Blake
credits, yeah.
Lively.
So my
Is it?
wife
Okay.
Yeah.
had no clue about the Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, anything. But as soon as she walked out and she said 2 words, my wife slapped me. That's Blake. Lively." Because
Blake,
Yeah, it was
Blake is that
There it is.
thick.
But was she in the suit, or was it just a voiceover?
They could have just done the voice. Absolutely, she didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
They could have done Taylor Swift, and she could have recorded it in Tokyo for
Yeah.
all they, you know.
I think that was Blake Lively, but I know what's his name was not. All right. He was
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey was a voiceover.
It's
Right.
always great when I get to, Seth. It's always great when I get to.
I loved
His
when
kids were in it too. He put
yeah,
his kids in
exactly.
it.
I love when Deadpool was holding nice Deadpool, and they got cut in half, and he was like trying to
That
get
was
him
awesome.
across.
Yeah, dude, I love how intentional it was from his
Yeah.
conversation with him earlier when he's like,
Yeah.
can I have him?
I'm
He
gonna
goes,
get
"No."
that
Well,
dog.
Yeah, when he was like, if something happens to you or if you need a new
Yeah.
home, I'd like to be the new papa. Well, what would happen to me? A lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nice Pool was pretty funny.
The proposal, that was great.
The proposal.
Right in the
yeah.
camera.
Like, I can gently tap the fourth wall too. The proposal. What the fuck? Do I sound like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
how
love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Ain't no doubt about it. How awesome was it? Like, at least for me, maybe not for Rob, but for me, because I am a defender of the older pre-Disney stuff, like but not even pre-Disney, but pre-MCU stuff. I was raised around all this stuff, so I've been going to these midnight premieres since I've been a little kid. Before they started showing them early on Thursdays, my dad's always taken me since the dawn of these. I was there for X-Men when it came out because I was young, I wasn't taking myself to movies back then. So I've always had a special nostalgic place in my heart for this stuff. And finally, watching that moment when they're square up, they look at the Deadpool core, and what's coming, a big fight, and we all know the mask is coming. Didn't cheapen about 1 second of it when he reaches back. It's just him putting his arms back. The entire theater, with me included, erupted, and he puts it on, and I'm like, holy fuck. It was like a dream come true seeing Hugh Jackman fully decked out with the mask on for me.
At that point, it looked fantastic, the mask. It looked a little wobbly at the end, like Rob said, but at that point, we were like, yes, this looks fantastic.
It was cool.
I was always nervous about the mask. Wondered if it would look as good as you had it in your head. And it surpassed what I thought it was going to look like. It was so intimidating.
He called them blowjob handles?
Blowjob handles.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't just that. It was streamlined.
Like there it looks a little shaky there, but
I would have liked to see them throw in a few
that
other
pose.
things.
That
was amazing.
Jesus.
Could we have had somebody like Reb Brown show up? And that would have been fun. But
Yeah, that's what Pop pointed out. You would have liked to see that.
or Lou Ferrigno as Hulk. When Wolverine was facing Hulk and said it's a little even if it was CGI or something, just but instead of the current MCU Hulk to have it be a Lou Ferrigno Hulk. Oh, that would have been awesome.
That would have
now
been
let me ask, with everything that was rumored for this, does anybody feel disappointed in the cameos that we got, or was everybody kind of happy with what we got?
No.
I'm glad we didn't get a Taylor Swift.
I would have been happy either way. Get her or not get her doesn't matter to me. I'm not a Swiftie. I think if they would have put her in it and the word got out, that would have been another $1 billion no matter what you would have made on this. Tack on an extra at least $500 million of the Swifties going just to say they went to have the ticket to put in their album collection or whatever. But it would have been a great financial decision, but who knows how much it would have cost to get her. But the cameos all made me happy, and I didn't really put any stock into the special appearances by the villains, but we had a ton of those. We got Toad, Sabretooth, Juggernaut, Azazel, a bunch of the Morlocks. I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be Psylocke. Yeah, the Russian from the Punisher. And I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be Psylocke. They showed her face one time. They made sure to show you she had purple in her hair, and then she used
that was her.
Whip. So we had Psylocke in there.
No.
Now, was the Russian the guy with the striped shirt?
Yes.
Yeah, the red
Okay,
and
I
white.
was wondering who that was.
Yeah,
from the Thomas Jane Punisher movie.
This is my biggest nitpick of all. All right, with it being the send off for the Fox universe, I think we could have got some bigger X-Men. We could have got James Marsden as Cyclops. We could have got
They spent all the budget on Chris Evans.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He's got to go. You only do it, yeah.
I think it was pretty good passed around because you had to have some villains in there too. But Yeah, I didn't feel like I was lacking any X-Men until like I thought about it. They didn't show Wolverine's his backstory, like his big failure at all, one bit. And that's one thing that I think might have added a little more weight to it. Like I don't even fully understand what happened to his
he
world's
went to a bar and everybody died while some humans came and killed off all the mutants, couldn't defend themselves without Wolverine there. Really?
It must have been like a animated series deal.
And then he got upset and went on a killing spree and just like killed indiscriminately for a while. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm interpreting from it. But I mean, how is it that none of the mutants at Xavier's Institute could defend themselves against humans, but Wolverine was going to make the difference?
Well, I took it as like it wasn't necessarily just like a Frankenstein mob, you know, because like Trask is just a human, but he rocks with Sentinels and stuff like that. Stryker is just a human, but you know, you have these formidable human foes for the X-Men. I just took it as something along those lines. You remember X-Men 2? If that SWAT team would have rocked in with bullets instead of tranquilizers, they would have massacred that entire school if Wolverine wasn't there. Wolverine and Colossus were the only two that could defend that entire school at that moment. So
thank you for bringing up Colossus. How come we got nothing? Wolverine and Colossus are sitting there at the end together and
one
there's like
fast
zero recognition, even for that matter, that here I am, I've lost all the X-Men. Here I am with an X-Men as well, you know, or a couple X-Men.
A lot of
just there's zero recognition.
But maybe they were told that they couldn't use it because there's something bigger coming down the line.
Well, I figured that scene by the end of the movie, that scene was like well farther into the future. They had time to get Wolverine settled, cleaned up, new clothes, comfortable in the room, and plan a party for everyone to come over to. So I figured at that point they might have.
It takes 48 hours.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
How long did it take to get shawarma? Wait,
yeah, exactly.
That was a great call. Now that was a good callback.
You know, yeah,
that was a great call.
Yeah, exactly, Vogs. How about that post-credit scene?
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to determine, was that dubbed or did he really say all that stuff?
He really said all that
stuff. It probably took him like 30 takes.
Right. Well, because for a moment, it didn't sound, in my head, I kept hearing like Ben Affleck's voice for some reason as he was saying all that stuff instead of Chris Evans' voice. But yeah.
That was a good line about Daredevil's dead. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. No.
Yeah, I think overall they represented all the films well. You had Azazel from First Class. You had Juggernaut from X-Men 3. You had Electro. I mean, it seemed like they touched on pretty much everything, and then other stuff that I wasn't expecting, like with Blade. The Furiosa lines, they even touched on stuff outside of their own property. That was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I have no clue where it's going to go from here. San Diego Comic-Con brought a lot of big news, and none of it lends toward what we can see with the future of Deadpool or the X-Men for that matter. I didn't see any announcements on that.
Yeah, there was nothing as a launching point for this. This really was more of a swan song type thing. Like Disney saying, "Hey,
over, right? SDCC is officially over, right?"
Yeah.
Yes. But
no
except for all the until you're 90.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you're 90.
And even as a one-hit wonder, I thought Cassandra Nova was pretty intimidating. I thought that was a great character.
She was good.
So great, because that could have been just another forgettable throwaway villain. But no, those scenes were awesome. And you want to talk about bringing out the acting class? All right. The way he confronted her, he's like, my Charles would have loved you. My Charles would have torn a hole through time and space to find you.
If you were here, to bring you home.
To me, also, she looks like McAvoy. She looked like McAvoy.
Oh, she totally did. I loved the eyes and everything. It was great.
And
did you guys get the trailer? Did you guys get the trailer with McAvoy in that crazy movie before with the horror movie?
So turned on by
they should lock him up. He's too good at that. That's jarring. I'm not seeing that movie.
Oh, I'm going to see that movie. And I'm going to bring my sock too. Jeez.
Is that the one you were talking about last night?
Yeah.
What's it called?
What is it? I don't know. I didn't catch the title.
Oh my God. the other family, strangers.
Yeah, he invites two couples. It's like it's a thing that's been done before. You've seen this in horror movies before. Couple ends up with someone else in like a guest house or whatever, and they start acting weird, and then they figure out that they're trying to kill him. It's like one of those kind of movies, but he's just too good at being a psycho.
Yeah. It's called Speak No
Here.
Evil.
Yeah,
That's
he's
it,
great.
yeah.
I saw him in Split, and I can't think of any other crazy horror stuff like that. I've seen
He's
him.
that
Obviously
great in
Glass.
that. He is great in that.
That M. Night Shyamalan trilogy is pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, because he starts off like all nice, and then every single clip afterwards like more and more creepy, like as it goes through the rest of the trailer.
I think Angelina messed him up way back in Wanted.
Oh, maybe.
I love that movie. But I'm going to start running some giveaways as we keep going here. So drop the hashtag in the comments. We are Legion, and I'm going to go ahead and run that. Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, donated by DJ Links. And I think he said he was throwing cash in there with it. I didn't.
$20.
I think I heard $50.
Paul
I think I heard 200. 200?
Nick heard 200, so it's going to be a surprise when it shows up. But we'll start running some of those. Where do y'all have any idea or what y'all expect to see from X-Men? Because Feige made the comment that this is the start of the mutants in the MCU, which I think is just a harebrained thing for him to say out loud, being that they've established Kamala Khan as the first mutant in the MCU. They've shown Professor X in Multiverse of Madness. They showed Beast at the end of the Marvels. There's been nothing protected about the X-Men coming in as a big reveal kind of thing. And this didn't do anything to set an MCU stage for mutants at all, especially being that Deadpool didn't live on the timeline or the sacred timeline at the end of it. So they've done nothing to move the needle of X-Men rolling in with this movie even.
He also was dumb enough to say that this is the next most important in order of priority. This comes after Infinity War and Endgame. There's this, and I'm like, no, this movie didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, this movie felt like it had no bearing on the timeline of the MCU whatsoever, which I think played to its strengths. But I know a lot of people look forward to a movie leading into what comes next, and I think that's been a big hindrance with what's happened because, especially in the most recent stuff post Endgame, everything that they kind of like hint to what comes next hasn't even been addressed or referred to. No Black Knight, no Blade. No Young Avengers, no Eternals.
Listen, that was one of the biggest mistakes. They need to throw Blade and Black Knight in a movie. Just the two of them swinging swords, chopping up vampires for 2 hours. I take my money.
Can you explain what you mean by swinging swords,
Yeah, we
please?
need context.
Exactly.
Wait,
I mean, they're sharp-ass weapons that can kill monsters,
should we correct that?
And then
You need them.
will be on my OnlyFans page. It'll be part of Something Is Killing My Bussy series. So there you go.
Don't forget, Cliff, that they need to be shirtless.
Exactly.
Of course they'll be shirtless. Of course. Come on. You know you want to see those men all ripped up, the blood of vampires on them. Oh my God, let's do it. Just make the movie.
And they're not doing anything with Eternals too, but they are going to have Sam Wilson fly around the Celestials.
The Celestial, yeah, which I'm excited about because I think that I read somewhere that Celestial or the Celestials in general
Going to be made of adamantium.
Yes, the MCU's introduction to adamantium, which is ironic because the TVA just outfitted Deadpool with adamantium swords to give him the ability to fight Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they could have it because they're outside of time.
That Taylor scene was
amazing.
hilarious.
Oh, it fits perfect. And your tailor is a predator, by the
way. How many butt slaps and crotch cups were there in that sequence? Oh,
there was at least 10. There's at least 10.
Yeah. All right. So I'm about to run this for Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. And then I'm just going to rerun it with the same hashtag for other stuff as we go as well. So if you haven't put in the hashtag, put it in. If you have, put it in again. Doesn't hurt. Digger Jim.
Digger Jim. All right.
$5,000 coming your way, Jim.
There you go.
So it's up to 5,000 now.
5,000. He just texted me. Let me know.
Okay. Boom. Biggie Shack. What is going on? He said he enjoyed it. He's a Deadpool fan. Did y'all feel like any the Nice Pool costume? I don't know why it stood out so much to me. Do y'all feel like it was like supposed to be a specific era or art style of Deadpool?
It was very shiny and
Striking.
clean. I feel like that was part of it.
It was obviously armored out, but God,
it seemed like to me it was more plasticky. Like it was
exactly.
intended to be very fake. It was like he doesn't have the heel, he doesn't have any, it's just fake,
Like hockey pads.
Hockey pads, yeah. Shout out to Batman. I can't believe that we've gone for 50 minutes without anybody mentioning Dogpool. Not one time Mary Poppins hasn't been brought up. That's crazy to me.
It's Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to show this real quick. I'm going to make sure y'all keep dropping that hashtag in there. The next thing I'm going to give away is the reprint for New Mutants 98, along with Deadpool Classics. This is Volume 7, collecting just Deadpool stories from across the years. Hopefully, if anybody out there is anything like me, when stuff comes out, it gets you excited. It makes you want to read more and dive into the character more. And, yeah, we'll just keep it rolling. We'll just keep it rolling.
All right. Well, if you want to run it again, Mark, I will be giving away a sort of mystery box with Wolvie and Deadpool's themed books. So let's see who's got it.
Las Crucius, of course. I'll run that one next, Nick. I'm going to throw his name down on this one real quick.
What a surprise.
Yeah, he won. I think he won something on Brian's stream earlier this weekend, too. He's like the most winningest person.
He wins a lot. He's won a couple on my.
No.
Well, he has given the blueprint. Show up to everybody's stream, be the first one there, and then you'll have all the good stuff come to you.
There you go.
Law of percentages.
Yeah. Where do y'all stand with Robert Downey Jr. coming back? That was probably like by far the biggest announcement from San Diego Comic-Con, right?
Pretty shocking.
Yeah.
I thought it was shocking. I think he can do it too. He could pull it off.
I think he'll pull it off. But right, but it's jumped. I feel like it's safe and it's lazy. It's like, okay, well, the Russo brothers did it for us, and Robert's never failed us, and I'm like, you're going to introduce a major Marvel villain, and this is their roll of the dice. But look at the reaction it got: screaming, hooting, hollering. All my friends' kids are so excited, and I'm like, okay, fine. I was like, here is my disconnect. All
right, so I'm going to ask Mark a question.
Uh-oh.
Which was the more baller image? Trump like this with the blood, or RDJ taking off the mask?
Oh, definitely RDJ taking off the mask. That face he made when he did it, he was soaking it in. Like he knew that. Like I think that's why actors do what they do for moments like that. When he did that, just put his arms out, like recreating the scene from Iron Man 1, really, when the Jericho bombs go off behind him. And just
because his sunglasses on. He's
soaking in his work. In that sense, it was the Jericho bombs he created. In this sense, it was an entire fandom he's been asked to come back and save.
So, I mean, obviously,
I was going to say sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, obviously, they're going to do something where he's, an alternate freaking guy. Otherwise, the problem we have here is that you're using this actor to play another person, but you won't recast characters. Instead, you're killing off people instead of just recasting them. If I can accept an actor playing multiple roles of different characters, then I can accept that multiple actors playing the same role.
Yeah, I don't want.
Maybe he's Victor. Maybe he's not even Tony.
Crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he is Victor, then there's no excuse for not recasting characters and keeping characters keep going throughout the MCU.
Yeah, you could recast anybody with anybody if you're going to recast the same actor for multiple parts, for sure.
Or maybe the guy they cast for Iron Man in that series winds up becoming Doom, and they flip.
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's probably tied to the whole Kang stuff and the different variants and stuff that are going on. So
I might be one of the only people, but I had the worst reaction. I had no reaction whatsoever. I wasn't excited. I wasn't mad. I was just like, eh.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I was flat, but I was flat in the sense that my gears were turning. I'm like, how does this make sense? How do we make this make sense? Because it's not just like, hey, guess what? Robert Downey Jr. has been cast as the Victor Von Doom. It's not that simple. And we're in the multiverse era, and they have to close it all out with Secret Wars. So it just seems like it has to be some kind of multiversal thing, right?
You would think.
I saw something on IG where they have him in a picture from Tropic Thunder saying he's going to be recast as Black Panther.
Yeah. Kurt Lazarus recast as Black Panther. All right, real quick, if y'all keep putting that hashtag in, this one's for Nick's giveaway. He said he's got some Deadpool Wolverine theme stuff coming your way. It's going to.
Be great if I win this.
I hope you do. Oh, snap. You almost said Paul Morales. Congratulations. Make sure you hit Nick up on Instagram so he knows where to ship it to. If you don't have Instagram, you can message him somewhere else, I guess, or just message me on any social media that you have. I'm there. Threads, Facebook, IG, wherever, and I can hook you up with him.
Hit me up on my MySpace.
Yeah, hit him on MySpace. He's definitely there.
The internet's abandoned amusement park. MySpace.
Yeah. That Artie Day thing definitely
that was...
a level of desperation to it, but I do have hope, especially with the Russo brothers coming back. I don't know how much they're involved in the writing and plotting of things, but they can at least deliver a good movie. They haven't missed yet in the Marvel universe. They've delivered like easily what people think is like the best stuff that's out there. Winter Soldier for me is like top tier quality, like mixed with superhero genre.
Right.
And then
apparently all they do is
that saying
have people fight.
Where you say like what's the best? Like the best Marvel movie, like pound for pound, is Winter Soldier. But the one I want to watch the most is Endgame. But I realize that Winter Soldier is a better movie.
Yeah, but it's really only the last 47 minutes of Endgame too, right? You don't sit through 3 hours for the last 47 minutes, do you?
I sit through 6 hours.
I'm an extreme example, but yeah, I will.
No, I mean that's serious. I've rewatched the last 47 minutes of Endgame from the moment that Paul Rudd's phone ring or Clint Barton's phone rings, when Paul Rudd looks at the butterfly and the missiles come down. Like I watched from there to the end, and it doesn't matter how many times I start it right there, I still tear up, I still cheer, I still like get the goosebumps when Cap picks up the hammer. And everything before that is no different than No Way Home or how this movie would be to a degree, where it's just like we're just trying to do a checklist of cameos and moments. But the difference with Endgame is it's not exciting like it is seeing these characters brought back, and they're not superheroes largely. It's just Tony's dad and this coffee shop worker and just random stuff. But I think it was cool. But I mean, I also want to spit on the floor every time I see their version of the Hulk anymore. But
well, I think it's good timing between the success of this movie box office wise this weekend, RDJ. I think Marvel has bought themselves a little momentum to bring some people back for the next drop. But Agatha and Ironheart, I don't know if those are shitty shows. I don't know if that's going to help any.
The Marvel universe
pretty decent.
The Marvel universe has now made more than $30 billion. It's the number one franchise.
Wow.
Yeah, even with their failures, they've been doing very well.
Again, if you produce enough,
don't worry about Agatha.
eventually it adds up. I can make 100 crappy films, and eventually.
Yeah, they said it's made this much money. Let's put that next to the cost. $30 billion it's brought in. What's the cost?
I think they're doing just fine.
They probably.
Well, obviously they are, or they wouldn't be doing
over
it.
the past 4 years, they're definitely they've lost money on a lot of films over the past handful of years here. Hence why, we got Robert Downey Jr. coming back. They had some unfortunate things that they can't control, like with Kang and all that, but they can correct the ship. I have no doubt in my mind that the Marvel Cinematic Universe will continue, but it's just how will it look continuing? Will it continue to be the franchise that can like just copy and paste billion-dollar movies? How long can that last? Everything comes in cycles. Westerns used to be the biggest thing, then sci-fi used to be the biggest thing. Then for a decade, horror movies used to be the biggest thing. Then kind of flounder around for a few years, and then the superhero craze took off. And they keep it going at the rate they're putting it out. Because normally when the next generation of kids come in, they look at the generation above them and say, whatever you're into isn't cool just because. Right. No reason, just because. We have our own stuff we're into. And so it's going to be interesting to see if they can kind of break that formula and keep it going for a long time. But it definitely requires not doing what they did for the last 4 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think they just need to get back to a cohesive storyline because I mean the way that Infinity Saga worked was because it was so preset. You know, even if you missed a little bit on a movie here or there, it was still within. You were still excited because it was all part of that one big story. So now it got a little fractured. I still think there were quality films made. But it's like you weren't as excited to get to that end like you were with these 22 films or something in the Infinity Saga. Just I don't know if you recapture that ever again, really. You know, it might be a one-time thing.
The hammer for the first time, time.
Right.
And I think another big thing is they're missing their tent poles. But real quick, I'm gonna get Paul to show off. We're gonna keep running these giveaways here. Paul's brought a couple books himself.
We have the reprint of Deadpool #1, Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness. We have the foil reprint of Wolverine #88. The famous. We have
those homages in the movie.
I'm surprised they didn't recreate that cover in the movie.
They did. They did. I forget which part. I forget which part it was, but
did he flip him backwards?
They reversed it. Wolverine had Deadpool up, and then he slammed him on his knee. Remember?
Right. New Mutants '98, the foil reprint as well, and then this is the BTC exclusive. This is Giant Size X-Men, the foil. The BTC exclusive.
Fantastic. That Giant Size X-Men one was a New York Comic-Con exclusive they did, I believe. Some banger stuff. So let's see who those are going to. Make sure I'll keep dropping that hashtag. I'm just going to keep rerunning it. We got one more giveaway after this one as well. And we're going to get everybody out of here at a decent time. I have comic issues. Huge congrats.
Nice. Just reach out to me. I have comics issues. I am sector__2815 on Instagram.
So going back real quick, I think another big thing that they have to work on is tentpole characters. You know, like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor were really the tentpoles that held up the MCU, and it makes sense getting past them. And you know, Iron Man is gone at the moment. Captain America is gone at the moment. Thor is as good as gone at the moment because of like where that franchise kind of went. Like people just aren't feeling it. And they would never really establish new tentpole characters because we just bounced around too much. And we're kind of stuck with pretty modern characters that nobody has like this like long time attachment to. No real massive deep lore fan base attachment to Shang-Chi or Miss Marvel or the Eternals and stuff like that. And I mean, you can't really build a franchise off those things if you're just one-offing them and not doing anything with it. So I think that primarily is why I think we got Robert Downey Jr. back, is they just need a tent pole in some form or fashion to bring people in.
Well, let me ask a question. We were talking about this before, Mark. Do you think has Marvel now conditioned their viewers, their moviegoers, to only go to movies like Endgame and Deadpool because they're going to see massive amounts of characters you don't know, you may not know who's going to show up, and will movies like the Captain America New World Order, Brave New World, will those go by the wayside?
I don't know. I just recorded that video kind of talking about it.
Yeah.
Comes out this
week.
Can I dream? What is it, Rob?
I said, can I dream based on the characters that we've established currently of a Defenders with Namor, Hulk, and Sorcerer Supreme?
They're there. Yeah. That's something that I guess they could pick up, but
they won't.
It's crazy. We haven't got anything about Namor again.
Well, he was semi-canceled, and I haven't seen an update on his Instagram since.
They canceled Namor?
Well, so the girl he
didn't know the age of that mermaid.
So the actor, the woman he was dating, she's like an activist or whatever. She's known for having acid thrown in her face, so she covers her face a lot. And then she's like, oh, he's protected. They put him on a pedestal. He was awful and abusive to me in our relationship. And then he released one thing of these claims are outrageous, and then just silence.
So he got some immortal, you mean?
If I'm not mistaken, when it came to Wakanda Forgettable, he was the actor with the most film credits out of everyone on that cast, wasn't he?
Yep.
So what I'm hearing,
he's a big name overseas in his market. I don't remember where he's from.
so what I'm hearing though, Cliff, is you're saying that he was accused of something, he denied it, and then shut up,
Yes.
and it went away.
Smart man.
I'm not sure if it went away or what.
Well, I haven't heard about it. It hasn't been in the news.
But it's been complete radio silence and zero social media from him since. But it's not like he closed his social media.
Sounds smart.
Sounds like he moved to the island with Bo DeMayo.
Yo, Bo DeMayo is running around shirtless, taking pictures with Storm and Jean Grey, being like, you need to get over people being naked, body's a body, just stop letting this be a problem. I love everything he's doing. He's just great. Get him back, Disney. Y'all don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, he delivered a good product.
He certainly did.
Last giveaway here. Let me show this off real quick as well. So this one, we've got another Deadpool Classics featuring the Hulk on the cover. And then the foil reprint. Those are going together to one lucky winner. We're going to spin that thing right now. Hope everyone got the hashtag in there. And this one is going to
somebody. Boom.
Definitely somebody. Rob.
Going to you, somebody.
Boom. Congrats.
Is it going in the box, Rob?
No, you know it.
You know it.
Or whether it's the giveaway box or the Comics Curing Cancer box, it's going one of the two.
It's going somewhere. And while you mention that real quick, let me remind everybody that Comics Curing Cancer is in full Bernie Sanders mode, and we are once again asking for your donations. It's at the time of the charity event where we're looking for any key comics, slabs, miniseries, small runs, anything that you have in your PC that you think.
Art.
Go ahead, Rob.
Art.
He added the word art. Thank you, Rob. Anything you have in your PC that you feel like it could be better served going to the 3-day virtual event, which will be the first weekend in October. Our goal this year is $50,000. We passed that last year, and we can't do it again this year without all of y'all's help. Y'all already know what time it is. Just hit us up on Instagram. If you're not following Comics Curing Cancer, do better. If you are following Comics Curing Cancer, share it with somebody who isn't. Don't forget, you can go over there, hit the link in the bio, get straight to our link tree, and you can go ahead and pick up some items that we've had produced throughout the year already. And don't forget, if you have art, Rob, any kind of art, if you know artists, we're also looking for that kind of stuff. We'll be doing all kinds of stuff this year. So thank you to everybody who's already helped us out, who's picked stuff up, who's donated, who's shared out. Thank you, Jay. Boom, sharing his art book right there. Yeah, it's a fantastic cause. When it comes down to it, Cassandra Nova is a real see you next Tuesday, but Cancer's the real villain.
And of course, don't forget those C3 exclusives you showed. We got the special going on right now. If you didn't pick up a Sonic the Hedgehog 69, or you've been wishing that you had picked up a second one, good news. Right now, they're on special on the site. I just dropped the link, $15. They're at half price, and that means we also reduced the price of the art book combo with the Sonic the Hedgehog book. You get the two for just $30. Nice. And then, of course, you can follow Comics Curing Cancer on Instagram as well as now on Facebook. If you have a Facebook profile, please follow it to help us get more followers so we get suggested out to more people.
Yeah, we're really trying to push it, really trying to get it out there. But I appreciate everybody coming. Let's go around the horn. Jay, there's more people in here now. Tell them where they can find you.
We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, at The Unchosen Ones Podcast. So give us a try. Test drive it.
Y'all love
it. See how it feels.
every other Saturday, The Unchosen One. I've been trying to put my viewers onto you, man. I absolutely love y'all's dynamic.
Thank you.
You and Dave are hilarious despite his Snyder hate. But
yeah. That's his favorite director. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Nick. Drop him in the chat. Of course, Rob's Fat Sacks of Comics. Everybody in here pretty much knows him. Check him out at Rob's Fat Sacks here on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff every Saturday. Find him live streaming for Only Slabs. Reach out to him. See if you got what it takes to be a guest on that show. If you've got 25 or 30 CGC or CBCS, any graded comic book, come on there, show off your slabs, talk about shit, what all that. Cliff, he likes coffee these days now. He's doing new shit. He's in the new thing. Saturdays, what time?
10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And you can find Nick's Kicks and Comics at your local brothel. Just knock before you enter.
Not twice before you enter.
What about a daylight time right now, Cliff?
What about daylight?
Yeah, aren't you doing it right now at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time?
I thought Eastern Standard Time is just always Eastern Standard Time.
No, there's
It's called-
daylight
it's
time
called
and the
real
standard time.
time.
When they move the clocks, it
Yeah,
becomes,
but I mean, like,
We're in
Lord,
Daylight Time right now.
I have to like add on another layer. Come on.
He's more into
I-
taking off layers.
This is Mark has his shtick with geolocations and where things are. I
I'm
have
great
my
at
shtick with times.
Yeah, Rob's
I
a big
can't,
fan
Rob.
of
I
Greenwich
can't. I'm
Media.
sorry. I don't have it in me. I don't. Okay. I've got this British Standard Time, whatever the hell we call Australia time. I did.
Well, there's multiple time
Today
zones in Australia. It's a
Algorithm,
pretty big continent.
today the algorithm led me to a French, Parisian, DC comic book collectors club. They were thrilled that I was in attendance.
Was it comics and croissants?
No, the show translates into the comic book counter. That's the translation. All of them omnibus collectors. So foreigners, I don't know what's up. The omnibuses is happening for them. It's really
They
quite.
love their
I wonder if it's
omnibuses.
an accessibility thing. You know, like comics are like our Australian friends tell us all the time how expensive it is to get comics. Like our cover prices for them are almost doubled. You know, but I wonder if that's just an accessibility thing.
They're
But
just
also,
all about
don't
their
forget-
So Cliff,
Go
they're
ahead,
all about
Rob.
their omnibuses.
Omnibus.
Yes.
Oh, Rob.
I'm gonna make a whole segment of that called the omnibuses.
Cliff's omnibussy review.
But
Jesus.
as it is, my newest segment that debuted this week is Bussy Busters. So please look forward to more of those. You know,
This is OnlyFans? This is on OnlyFans? I can get
This
this?
is
Exactly, yeah.
definitely on
It's
YouTube.
on YouTube. My first Bussy Buster is the Thanos Legacy, signed by Ron Lim, and also signed by who's Jim Starlin, Ron Lim, and Danny Cates.
That
Right?
looks fantastic in the comic skin with the bumpers on it.
It's kind of neat.
Why is the number crossed out?
Because Starlin has such beef with Marvel, he crossed it out when he signed it.
Wow.
He's like,
Yeah,
I
it's
created Death
Like,
first.
isn't
We
it
gotta
like,
talk. We gotta talk to him about that at breakfast next year,
At
Mark.
breakfast, yeah, we'll talk to him next year. for
Draws a
that.
dick on it.
Yeah. And also, I want to
Listen,
remind
I
everyone,
watched-
you know, we didn't
Frank
get
Miller.
to any of the comic reviews this week. It was a massive week, but next week is a 5th week release, so it'll be small. We'll be covering all the reviews from this week, next week, as well as the news and stuff. San Diego Comic-Con recap and all that we'll do next week. But if you want to keep up with Absolute Power as the event unfolds, as always, you can find me and Paul over on his channel every Monday morning. The video is already recorded. It's uploaded. It'll release at 10 a.m. for a premiere. So there's three issues that dropped this week for Absolute Power with Green Arrow, the Amanda Waller Origins, and Task Force 7, which this definitely some cool stuff. So be sure to check that out. Sector 2815 is linked in the description every time. Make sure y'all follow it. And
Guess that key this week as well. Wednesday night,
with Durs and
9:30.
Cliff, right?
With Durs and Cliff. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be.
I think he's bringing a Thanos #1. No, you can't tell it's #1 because it's crossed out.
Yeah, I'm
But guys,
definitely
I appreciate all y'all coming on and hanging out and chilling tonight. It was definitely a blast, and thank you to everybody in the chat. So that's gonna do it for tonight. And he wasn't in the movie as it was pointed out in the chat, but we don't forget him here. Until next time, we are Legion.